Alex here with a high conflict child custody video on financial disclosure forms. I think all 50 states have these, and I think they're actually all called financial disclosure forms, but there may be a few states out there that have a different name for it. It's basically a mandatory filing, at least in Nevada, and as I mentioned, most likely in all 50 states. It's a mandatory filing that contains the financial information of the party filing it. It'll contain things like where the person works, how much they earn. I don't even know if it has little details like the taxes that they pay off of their paycheck and stuff. But I do know that typically paycheck stubs have to be attached. So even if it's not in the form, it's attached as an attachment to the financial disclosure form. I believe that they also ask for accounts, like bank accounts and stuff. I think there's actually in Nevada two forms. There's one that's like a short form for just people who have like a job, a car, and like maybe bank accounts. And then there's another one that's the long form for people who have like real estate, like stocks and all kinds of other things. Um, the financial disclosure form isn't really a huge deal in Nevada, but people sometimes turn it into a huge deal by leaving things out, by hiding assets. And you know what's funny is it's not even like this is usually filed prior to even discovery. And in Nevada, there's court rules that say if it's not filed, you can even sanction the person for not filing it. Um, Later on, there's going to be a discovery phase anyway, and anything that the person was trying to hide is going to come out during that phase anyway. So people who play games with the financial disclosure form end up just really shooting themselves in the foot, but it does happen. The financial disclosure form is something I get a lot of questions on, and it's kind of frustrating because it's really not supposed to be that big of a deal, but from what I'm seeing from the emails I'm getting from people, it is really turning into um, a lot of needless back and forth game playing. You know, as I mentioned earlier, leaving things out, trying to act like the person's not working anymore. But there's also a lot of people who abuse the part of the form that talks about expenses, which I don't even know why that's there because, or maybe at least not. Okay, let me correct that. For child support, it doesn't make sense that it's there because in Nevada, the formulas are based off the gross monthly income. But maybe it actually does matter for people who are like paying alimony and other. I don't know if there's any other financial obligations that come into play when it comes to divorce cases. Again, I have to remind myself that in my case, I wasn't married. I just filed a petition to establish child custody and visitation. I have some viewers here who are filing complaints for divorce. It's different. So maybe that actually does matter for other people. There's a section of the form that talks about like expenses and all that stuff. My ex used to blow up all her expenses on there, and it didn't matter because the court didn't consider them. When it came to her paying child support, it was just based off her gross monthly income, and that was that. So in my case, that didn't matter, but in other cases, that may matter. Um, this video feels like, you know, really just a lot of hot air because there isn't much to say about the financial disclosure form except that you have to fill it out and you have to file it by a certain date. It's pretty early in the case that it has to be filed. And really, just don't play games with financial disclosure form because it turns into one of those things that people bring up at the whatever hearing comes up, and it's like nails on a chalkboard to a judge because they get sick and tired of hearing about it, but people bring it up. And it's because other people play games, or the opponent's playing games with financial disclosure form. Be as honest as you can because there's a phase coming up called discovery, and whatever it is you're trying to hide, when your employer gets subpoenaed, when your bank gets subpoenaed, and things don't add up, it's going to make you look like a clown. And if you're on the other side of that, if your opponent's hiding things in the financial disclosure form, well, guess what? Discovery is going to come up in the case, and now you can subpoena their employer, subpoena their bank, and you're going to find out the truth. And then you'll be able to take steps against your opponent for lying or deceiving the court or hiding things. This happens. Um, the point of this video was to just let people know that there is a form called the financial disclosure form, and that to fill it out as as accurately as you can. And if your opponent's trying to deceive the court, take note of the areas where they're deceiving the court, and just keep that in mind for later on when when you or your attorney, if you have an attorney, gets into the discovery phase of the case, so you can actually look into some of those details. I do know that it impacts temporary child support and temporary alimony, so it may become an issue, even in that sense, because the court does have to enter temporary orders, and if it doesn't, the court doesn't have anything else to base the your opponent's income or finances on, then it may be an issue where somebody temporarily suffers some kind of prejudice because the court does, there's no time to really figuring out if the person's lying or telling the truth, at least not until 3 or 4 or 5, maybe even 6 months after that. So again, the court does have ways to punish somebody for lying, but having to survive half a year on faulty numbers, it could make it real tough. I don't know what to say. If somebody, if anyone wants to post in the comments below about all kind of fiascos that they've had with the financial disclosure form, please do so. I know I sure as heck get enough comments in my emails in my inbox about this form. So anyway, with that, I'm going to go ahead and end this video, and I'll see you guys next time.